We begin right here in Lagos, as the Lagos State House of Assembly has elected its first female speaker following the impeachment of Mudashiru Obasa during House plenary on Monday. Obasa was accused of gross misconduct and financial misappropriation as his colleagues in the House voted unanimously to remove him, replacing him with his erstwhile deputy, Mojisola Miranda, who represents Apapa Constituency 1 in a major political development in Lagos in the new year. Tokumbo Oyetunji has the details.
A change of leadership button at the Lagos State House of Assembly. It was sudden, as the members of the Lagos public didn't see it coming, though there are reports that the legislators and those following the politics of the state knew it's just a matter of time. Though on recess, the legislators decided to conduct an urgent special session on Monday with the sole agenda, the change of leadership, and it begins with a motion by Obafemi Said representing Koshofe Constituency 2. Motion seconded and carried as the entire House in unison agreed to remove Obasa through a voice vote. Obasa's deputy, Mojisola Miranda of Apapa Constituency 1, is immediately elected and sworn in to give Lagos State its first female speaker.
And prosperity of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
And in particular Lagos State.
And in particular Lagos State.
I want to sincerely move and nominate that Honorable Mojid Fatai Adebola be nominated and take a seat as the Deputy Speaker of this Alo Chamber, Lagos State House of Assembly, 10th Assembly. The members of the Parliament today has decided to change the leadership of the House. And you know, the Constitution made it clear that the House has the power to regulate its proceedings. So the members of the House felt they've had enough of the Right Honorable Mudashiru Ajayi Obasa, and today we have unanimously agreed that Right Honorable Mojisola Miranda last but become the new Speaker of the House. So it was a resolution concurred to by all members of the Parliament, and so be it.
Obasa's impeachment brings to the fore the political conflict in the ruling All Progressives Congress in Lagos State, as he has been severally accused of arrogance of power, which many believe emboldened him to take several steps considered disrespectful to the office of the governor of the state and even the political hierarchy of Lagos. Several of his utterances during the last budget presentation by the governor of the state in November were considered the height of it by many.
To the blackmailers who have to embark on the mission to distort and redefine our mission, let me state it unequivocally here. Our intention is to promote our party on the platform of mandate. Also, becoming governor is secondary. It is something that I have not given a serious consideration. Nevertheless, that does not mean I am too young or lack experience to run, whereas those who have been before me are not better off.
Although an official statement by the House after Monday's proceedings describes the development as normal, events building to it, especially the November 21 episode and a recent meeting of the party hierarchy with President Bola Tinubu, where Mr. Obasa's many sins were brought to the attention of the president, indicate the contrary. Now the hammer has fallen and a new speaker is in charge in the Lagos House, where all members are said to have pledged total allegiance as Mrs. Mojisola Miranda begins her reign. Tokumbo Oyetunji, Arise News, Lagos.
Well, some might call it Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones, when a man's ambition gets the best of him, or when a man's ambition is too ambitious, can also be the case in this regard. But let me talk about this issue before I talk about the quiet or silent matters that have been identified in the issue of this, would I say, surprise impeachment. You know why? Because the Honourable Speaker, Mudashiru Obasa, was the golden boy of the Lagos State House of Assembly He had been elected since 2007 and been re-elected since then, 2011, 2015, 2019, then 2023. He has been Speaker for 10 years, since 2015. So he's enjoyed he's enjoyed goodwill in Lagos State, and that's why I use the term golden boy, such that he had the audacity, as some would put, or the affront, to challenge the Lagos State governor himself during his second term, especially in quiet times, even though he said it wasn't a challenge or because they had a rift. It was because at the time, the commissioners, if we recall, Vimbai, when the Lagos State governor had presented his commissioners, he moved away from tradition, or shall I say what had happened in the past, whereby all of them would get ratified because they're from the same party, and a number of them were not. And he cited the fact that they were not known in their constituencies and they didn't have political, currency. Now, the fowl has come home to roost, or how did they say it? This happened clandestinely because he was away whilst his members, 32 of them, voted unanimously, as we saw in that report, to impeach him. Now, the truth is that when it comes to impeachment, especially in Nigeria, the Constitution, as provided in sections 143 and 188, does not give, what they've cited is gross misconduct and abuse of office. That has been, if you hear the word gross misconduct, I'm sure you've heard it a number of times when it comes to the impeachment of some principal officers, like maybe deputy governors, as in the case of Edo State, or you have it in State House, speakers of State House of Assembly. By the way, this makes Lagos State the 20th state in Nigeria to impeach its speaker. So it's not very unusual. But what's happened here is that the legislatures have the power by a 2/3 majority to impeach the speaker based on what the Constitution describes as gross misconduct. Now, the challenge around that word or that phrase, gross misconduct, is what a number of people have argued. And when you go to court, because the term impeachment is not a judicial process, it's a legislative process. So what can only happen if he decides to go to court is to determine whether due process was followed, as in the case of Philip Shaibu in Edo State, where he was challenging that was followed. But the truth is that, like I've mentioned, it is unfolding. It is politics at its finest, as you see. Some people said he became too ambitious for his own good. He even started to build his own grassroots structure called a Basa Support Group. He was overreaching. After a while, he had fallen out of favor with those who were backing him for so long in Lagos State. And the sacred cow who seemed untouchable has now been touched, and not just touched, be removed. I'll end on this quote by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, because I'm hoping I would have more time for deliberations in the course of the show today. She said, even though she was speaking to young girls, you can have ambition, but not too much. You should aim to be successful, but not too successful. Otherwise, you will threaten the man. This is an advice for structures where a one-party system rules the state, and you have allegiance to a particular set of people, or a group of people, or perhaps the man. Be ambitious, but not too ambitious.
Okay, it's not about ambition. There's nothing wrong with ambition. You can have ambition. You can aspire to be governor, but it is about how you manage the process. That in itself is not a crime. If the issue is that Mudashiru Obasa had expressed opinion that he could be governor and that he would be even better than people who had been governors before him, there's nothing wrong with that. That would be legitimate within the province of free speech and human aspiration. However, what I see in this is, one, intrigues within the party, the All Progressives Congress in Lagos State, hubris, and also power play. Now, intrigues. The moment, Honorable Mudashiru Obasa made it clear that he too would like to be governor, he attracted attention to himself. And in Nigeria, once you aspire, a lot of people will come after you, including members of your own team. He has been speaker for 2015. From 2015, he was on his third run as speaker of that Lagos State House of Assembly. There must be something he had been doing that was in order. Okay? For him to be so popular, coming from Agege, from the suburb, and then he was allowed to remain speaker of the House. But the dynamics change within the House. In terms of intrigues, you will note that yesterday when he was impeached, all the 32 members said yes. In fact, some of the members, immediately Mojisola Miranda was made the new speaker, they started removing his photograph from every corner of the house. So you know then that, look, there's some intrigue involved here. Hubris. Hubris, when we teach students tragic forms, is about that flaw of character in a particular individual who is destined to be great or who occupies a great position, but who falls from grace to grass. That's what we teach when we teach students tragedy, without being pedantic. Hubris was part of the matter. Fuadoki, who is one of the members of the House, has reported that, in fact, do you know that Honorable Mudashiru Obasa kept the governor waiting for 5 hours when he went there to present the 2024 budget. It was not only the governor that he kept waiting, he also kept waiting members of the General Advisory Council, the all-powerful GAC in Lagos State that has been determining Lagos politics since return to democracy in 1999. Their children, all their children, haven't been given positions on the basis of the politics of proximity and the support that they give to the ultimate godfather, that will be President Tinubu. So how do you keep people like that waiting? And then there are, reports that, the governor will want something. He will not listen to the governor. He will arrive late at events that the governor will have arrived earlier than him in a breach of protocol. So there's that flaw of character. The argument is that he had become so disrespectful of the governor and the power establishment in Lagos State that they felt they needed to do something about him. All the House of Assembly members who wanted him removed, they said they wanted change, that they were tired of him. That must have been a failure on his own part, and they didn't even do it in his presence. He was far away in Atlanta, Georgia. They left him stranded, removed his pictures, impeached him, and they said even the president tried to talk to him. The president was not impressed. So he had it coming. Power play. Power play will have to do with the politics of 2027. I tell politicians that, look, if you are interested in a position in 2027, maybe you should not disclose your ambition too early. I think in Mudashiru Obasa's case, he showed his hands too early. The people that went from Agege yesterday, about 20 plus boys, who went there and they said they were going to defend his interest. One report said they were immediately arrested and put into detention. You send area boys to this place where constituted authority is, arranging things. Those boys were even singing, "On your mandate."
Which mandate?
Whose
mandate?
You're in Lagos. The only people who own the mandate in Lagos State. And of course, so that's why it's also about power play. However, all of this does not mean that Honorable Mudashiru Obasa has lost his position in the House of Assembly. He represents the Agege constituency 1. He will return to his position. It's just that after serving as Speaker for 3 terms, a Speaker is first among equals. It's not a chieftaincy title. It's not a birthright. It's not a kingship position. So we expect that he will return, stay in the team and continue to serve members of his constituency. And that from the point of view of political engineering, he will find his way back to being favored within the system. But I think all of these people who want to be governor, they too will have learned their lesson that before you start showing that you are forming a support group, there will be implications, in the political sense, that is. But congratulations to Mrs. Mojisola Miranda, first female Speaker of the House of Assembly, a strong supporter of gender balancing, equal rights for men and women. And you could see that some of the early photographs that she took yesterday, she was surrounded by the women in the house. They rallied around her. So, but she has a job to do. And that job to do will be to avoid the pitfalls that Honorable Obasa fell into. The allegation is that there was fraud. After all, EFCC at the time tried to arrest him. Yep. There's also some story about 43 trillion naira that was mismanaged, abuse of office. Well, we, the people who live in Lagos, we like to know the truth about that. Transparency and accountability. We will need to get to the root of that. Otherwise, it will be a case of giving a dog a bad name in order to hang him. And I hope that this is not a case of persecution. And, you know, the legislature and the executive and the godfathers of Lagos politics are standing on terra firma instead of, you know, just taking giving a dog a bad name in order to hang it. When Mudashiru Obasa returns, he will have, of course, ample time to defend his integrity. That is a challenge for him.
Absolutely. I believe it was Robert Greene who came up with the 48 laws of power. And rule number 1 is never outshine the master. But I do say that Honorable Mudashiru Obasa seems to be somewhat of a lucky man, because with the gravity of the corruption allegations around him, everybody is more concerned with the power play and the power dynamics. What does that tell you? That a man who's had to answer to EFCC over the years, most recently he was accused of having spent 7 billion naira on a gate, 200 million naira on a Thanksgiving service. However, all of this somehow has taken the back burner because everybody is more engaged with the political intrigues of it all. Of course, the political intrigues are extremely important because there are a number of dynamics. As it has already been said, he was accused of outshining his master. Which master? I say 2 of them. It is said that he had become authoritarian, and undemocratic in the way he executed his duties, including not paying the necessary homage to the sitting governor, Sanwo-Olu. It's said that they've had a number of fallouts. There are some positions he was supposed to approve on behalf of the governor. He did not do so. A number of allegations in that breath. But many other people are speaking about the purported rumors of the president's son's ambitions for 2027 governorship election. And some people are saying, well, 1 man down. How many more to go in the road to 2027? That's why I say he's a lucky man, because if you look at how grave the corruption allegations are, it's a very serious matter. And I do hope that we can turn our attention to that, to the fact that somebody was Speaker of the House since 2015, and we're more concerned with the political play, the power play, than we are with the fact that there's a huge amount of money that is yet to be accounted for. So there's so many things to unpack.